Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I'm so glad that you're here with me today. Thank you so much for stopping by. I am going to actually do some scrapbooking, and I have not done any scrapbooking just for fun, where there's no assignment involved or no deadline, that kind of thing. I'm just going to do some scrapbooking today with some products that I have purchased myself and have not had a chance to use. And I'm actually really excited. I don't know if you have seen any of my live streams or any of my recordings for a while, but I do have a bunch of new equipment in my studio, and I'm just trying some new things today. Hopefully it all works, and hopefully you can hear me okay and all of that kind of good stuff. So just make sure that you go ahead and interact with me in the comment section. This is not a live, but it's a premiere. So what that means is that I will be live in the chat with you today, answering any questions that you have. And just let me know if just anything that's crossing your mind about the project or what I've been working on, what I've been busy with, that kind of thing. So on my desk, I have a stencil from the Crafters Workshop. This one is called, I will just check right now. I know it's a Rebecca Meyer stencil and it's awesome. It's called Script Dots. So it's just a fabulous stencil, and it is a 12 by 12. So it's really nice for working on a 12 by 12 scrapbooking layout. And I was thinking that I would do a little bit of mixed media today. I am going to be working with the 49 and Market Art Options Spice, which is beautiful. I've had it for a little while and I have not used it yet. So I just thought, you know what? I have some new photographs that I want to scrapbook. And so I am going to work with that today. So I have a piece of Vicki Boutin Foundations paper. You know that I am a huge fan of Vicki's Foundations paper, the white and the black. I have some modeling paste here. You can use whatever you have. If you want to do the techniques I'm doing here, you could use whatever you have. This happens to be a Schminky product. It's my favorite. It dries up really nice. It keeps its structure really nicely. And it handles water on top of it really well. So I really like this one. Let's see, it's Aqua Modeling Paste Fine. And it says for structures with even surfaces. So I really like this one. When I find it, I usually buy a couple of them. I don't remember where I got this. Maybe Jackson Art or Blick or something like that. If I can find a link, I will definitely do that. You might be able to get this on Amazon in smaller containers. I know I have found it in smaller containers before. So I'm just going to go ahead and apply this with a palette knife. This is a Crafter's Companion palette knife. These guys come in a pack of 3. This is a really great palette knife at a really great price point. And again, I will try to make sure that I link in the description box below to the things that I used today so that you can find them. I will include affiliate links where I can, so that if you use those links, I will get a very small commission at no extra cost to you. So you can just see I'm just trying to apply a fairly thin coat of this, because the thicker you put this on, the longer it's going to take to dry. And the reason why I like to add texture to my mixed media layouts is because it just provides that little bit of dimension on your background. And so again, just scraping that really nice and thinly on here. Hopefully you guys can hear me well. I definitely will listen back to the recording before I post it, just to make sure all of the tech is good. Okay, so just trying to get all of the areas. And you definitely can use other mediums on top of this product. Now, one thing that I do have over top of my glass mat today is just a silicone mat. This gray mat is just a silicone cooking mat that I bought off of Amazon. And what I like about it is it's non-reflective. And when I'm scrapbooking, I have to take my video camera. I have to have on a really wide angle so that you can see the whole project here. So sometimes there's a glare on my glass mat at the front when I really zoom out like this. And so I put this silicone mat down to stop the reflection and the glare. Okay, we're going to lift this off. And it's just going to provide this gorgeous square background. So really nice. I don't care if the edges are even. They're pretty even, but I was thinking I might do a matte on this one anyways. Now, what I do have to make sure that I do is take this to the sink pretty quick. You'll notice on this stencil that this border over here is wider than here. So it's pretty tough to get the borders exactly perfect. What I can do is turn my paper like this, and then it's going to be even on those three sides pretty close, and then a little bit wider at the bottom. So if I decide I don't want to trim anything off, that's probably the best way to manage that. But I am going to just stop the recording here for a second and come right back. And I do have my press and seal over top of this so that it doesn't dry out. And then of course I'll seal that up, and I'll just go to my sink and wash these up here. I am going to scrape the rest of that off into the container before I take this to the sink. Okay, so this is the beautiful Spice collection from 49 and Market. It's just, really, really stunning. Thinking about using this paper. Love it. I love the back as well. That is gorgeous. So I'm really thinking seriously about that one. This one is also really, really pretty. Just so many vibrant colors, right? And then on the back, there's more of a neutral pattern, which is helpful. This one is also really pretty. Beautiful. And then there's this gorgeous teal on the back of that one. Just really stunning. And this one has more of that really pretty orange with the vibrant colors. And then the purple on the back. This one has the lovely detail on the sides, which is nice. It gives you a little bit more of an open space in the center. And on the back, a really pretty pink. This again is like that as well, with the sides. And then the more open space here. Really gorgeous plaid on the back. This one's super fun. I really love this one with the pumpkins as well. Gorgeous. And then the brown on the back. And then this one basically is a pre-made layout, right? Like it's just got the really great spot here in the center for your photos. And then the different flowers and butterflies, leafery around the edge. And then this gorgeous butterfly print on the back. And I think this is where we started. So yeah, it's just a really, really gorgeous, gorgeous collection. So love it so much. I'm just going to put these papers over to the side. And I'm going to bring this back in. And now what I'm thinking about doing is fussy cutting around the edge of these and using them as a side piece here. What do you guys think? What do you think of that idea? Do you think it's crazy? I kind of like the idea. I think it might look really pretty. What I want to do first, I'm just going to grab my trimmer, and we'll take the barcode strip off the bottom. Oh, I have a barcode strip from another paper on there. Okay, so we're just going to go ahead and cut that off. And now, actually, I'm going to keep that trimmer on my table. And now what I'm going to do is just take my cutter bee scissors, and we are going to very bravely cut around this. And I'm actually going to do this. And I only have one sheet of this paper, so if it doesn't work out, it's going to be sad. But you know what? I have so much paper in my stash that I just gotta, I just have to go for it. Now, one thing I will say, if you have not worked with 49 and Market paper before, their paper is amazing quality. You can probably feel or see or hear, not feel because you're not touching it. You can probably see how dense the paper is. It's heavy. It's very heavy paper, which is really nice because this piece is going to have some good structure when I lay it down onto my project here. Just going to go around all of these different little pieces and try and stay in frame here for you as I'm doing this. Just love the rich colors that are part of this. Totally gorgeous. I'm not being super careful, just trying to get a basic trim out of all of these different little bits, because my plan is to layer some things with this, because I do have some of the embellishments for this collection as well. I don't want to cut off that butterfly's wing there. I want to make sure I go around that. The butterfly is so pretty. Hopefully my camera is staying in focus. I'm not going to worry about the antennae for the butterfly. Sorry, little butterfly. And I'm just going to trim that off. Then I'm going to go in around this butterfly here a little bit. And around that little tip. And up. I'm just trying to get some of the little curved detail of that wing of that sweet little butterfly. I love the colors in this butterfly, by the way. It's beautiful. And then down here, I'll go around this purple piece. Retain that little top of that pumpkin. It's probably like watching paint dry. Okay. Might get in there and get that after. So just let me lay this on there. Oh yeah, that's going to look really nice, I think. We can even take it right over to the side, but I'll have to depend. It'll just depend on how this looks once I get the background finished. But the nice thing about fussy cutting this is it allows you to just kind of like do whatever you want with your background. You can make your background as detailed and interesting as you would like. So we're almost done here. I actually really love to fussy cut. I have not always felt that positive about fussy cutting. There have been times where I've been not all that fond of it in the past, but as I've crafted more and worked with more different companies' product where fussy cutting is kind of required, like Minte, for example, Craft a Clock, some of those other companies where they have, well, definitely Studio Light, where they have lots of art that you have to fussy cut. I've actually grown to like it. I don't mind it. I actually find it kind of relaxing. Okay, almost done here. Okay, so there we have that piece. So I'm not really sure if I'm going to keep it to the inside and retain that border, or what exactly I'm going to do. But at this point, we've got that really nice edge and then the texture here. So what I want to do next is add some mixed media color to the background. That's going to look really interesting before I add my pictures. Okay, so I have grabbed some Lindy's Magical Shakers. This one is Have a Scone Heather. And it's just a really pretty kind of a purple color that I thought would look really nice with this paper. So I have a little container of water here, and I have a watercolor brush. This brush is an Art by Marlene brush, but you could use whatever you have. And I love these shakers because they just have this little top on them, and you just open this up. I'm not going to do it over my paper. Do it over here, but there's just this little shaker opening which allows you to shake the pigment out. So whether you want to shake it on your work surface, which you can do, or right onto your paper, it's whatever you would like to do. I'm going to put a little bit of water, not too much. This is not watercolor paper, so I'm going to add a little bit of water right onto the paper. And then I'm going to add the pigment in with the brush, like so. And just going to kind of add it in and then see. Yeah, I think that's going to be really pretty. Here, I can just add a little bit of more water over here. And now I'm just going to be brave and sprinkle a little bit of the powder right onto the paper. And now I can just go in, and you can see the different colors that are coming out there. You can see some blue in there, a dark fuchsia color. And when they mix together, they kind of just make this really, really pretty kind of purpley pink, which is beautiful. The nice thing about the Magicals is it's a mixture of color in there. So you kind of just never really know what is exactly going to come out. And it's just really, really fun. I love that. So that is just going to be really super pretty. So I'm just going to keep pulling that pigment out and down. And you can see that paste that I've used through the stencil it's not moving. It's just nice and dry and taking the water and the pigment beautifully. So again, I'm just going to draw out some of that pigment that's already on there. And in that way, it's just going to kind of fade out, so to speak. So I'll just put this back on here in the corner and add a little bit more down here, draw it down to this area. I want the most concentrated color to be kind of in this area here. I'll just let that flow out. I'll add a little bit more powder right here. And then some more water to that with my brush. And you can see that the paper is buckling a little bit, but that's fine. It'll dry and it'll be okay. It'll be good when I put it into the album. And now I'm just adding some spotters. Just tapping the brush and adding that splatter in around that area. And I'm going to try to mix that blue. There's not a lot of blue in the paper that we're using here. And I'm just going to line that up and see how that's looking. It looks really pretty. I like that, but we're going to have to come out some more here. You can see that when we get that piece on there. So I'm just going to keep adding, just sprinkling a little bit more of that pigment on there. And wherever I see that blue, I'll just kind of like, see I'm kind of just doing little swirly motions to get that blue to mix in. And we'll lose some of those splatters, but that's fine. We'll just add more. I just want to draw this color out this way a little bit. And you can just keep playing with it till you get the amount on there that you want, the amount of color. And you can layer these colors a little bit too. I could add a little bit of gold in here if I wanted. So now I'm just going to lay this on again. That is looking pretty darn good. I'm liking that. This is kind of where I'm going to put my photos in this area, and then we're going to layer more embellishments over top. So I think what I'll do is I'm just going to let this dry, and then I'll do some more splattering on top. Okay, so I used my heat tool to dry the paper a little bit, and now I've got a pretty fine brush, and I'm just dipping it into some watered down magicals here, and I'm going to add some splatters. And I love splatters. I have been one to add splatters to scrapbooking and cards for a long time. It's not something that I'm probably going to stop anytime soon. I just really love the looks of it. I think it just adds a really fun bit of detail to your project. It just elevates things a little bit, and I love doing that. So I'm going to just add a little more powder over here to my table. And I don't know if you can tell on the video, but I'll try to show you here when I'm finished splattering. But if you've never used magicals before, they do have a little shimmer to them. And I love that. It is just so pretty. It is just lovely. It's one of the neatest things about the magicals. Now you can get flat magicals without the shimmer if there's a project you're working on where you don't want that shimmer, and that's totally fine. You can definitely do that too. But I just really love that little bit of sparkle and shine. And you can just see how pretty that splatter is on there. I love it. I will splatter with white at the end, but for now, we'll just get this little bit of really pretty pinky purple. And we could actually even go in and do some black on here too. That would actually look really nice with this dark here. We could go in with a black, and that would look quite lovely as well. But we're just going to see how this looks first. One thing I really do like about working on the silicone mat is it just, it wipes up even more nicely than the glass mat. And when you're working with mixed media, I really do like having the silicone mat down on my surface. Okay, so we're just going to let this dry a little bit. You can even take your paper towel, and if you don't want the splatter to be that prominent, you could just take and roll it over and pick up some of that pigment, and it'll just be a little bit more subtle on there. Plus it will dry more quickly. And then I'll just take the heat tool and heat that a little bit. We'll heat the back, which will help even out the paper a little bit, take some of the warping out of it. I always try to heat both sides of my paper, and it flattens it out quite a bit. Okay, so now we've got that beautiful pigment on there. Let's just lay this on here again and see how that's looking. I love that. I think that is just really, really pretty. So we've got some nice white space here. and we've got this defined edge, got this lovely border. The border's a little bit uneven because I forgot to turn this like I said I was going to. So it's a little bit uneven with the edge there, but that's fine. I can take my trimmer and trim that out a little bit, and we can fix that after. That's not a big deal. In fact, it's not even really all that noticeable. So you could just leave it like this. Okay, I'll show you the photos that I have for my project today. I have 3 photos. I have this one here, and these are not cut to normal sizes. I have to say what I did when I printed them. I printed this one at, I think I printed it at 4.7 by, I'm going to say 3.7 or 2.7, maybe something like that. But what I wanted to do, because I have 3 photos, I've got this one, and then I have this one. I want to group them together like this so that they make a square. Okay. So those are the photos that I'm going to use. And I'm thinking, and I'm totally fine if the butterfly gets cut up, gets covered. It doesn't really matter to me what I cover once I start working on my project, because I've got a bunch of embellishments that I can add in. So what I'm thinking is I'm probably going to put the photos kind of more in a centered orientation, but I don't want to cover up all of my pink. So I'm just going to kind of move them around here until I kind of feel like I have them. That is nice. And we can still see quite a bit of our mixed media there and behind. So one thing that I can do is I can take this leftover brown paper and I can mount these photos onto here like so to create a little mat. So I'm kind of thinking about that. And I'm just sort of trying to visualize what that's going to look like on the layout with that brown background. I think it might be okay. So, but I might put a white mat on it first. So I'm just going to grab some white paper. Okay, so I've got some white textured cardstock. I really love this. This is the Basil Avalanche. I love that paper. I keep that in my stash because I love using it for scrapbooking when I want a textured cardstock. This is just some scrapbook.com tape runner. I really love it. It's their dot liner and it's repositionable, which I love about it. And what I'm going to try to do here is retain the same amount of white space around all of the photos. So I'm going to try to keep that edge and the gutter between the photos all about the same, just so that it kind of looks symmetrical. Okay, that's what I'm going for. And I hope that these photos are cut. They're not. This is actually going to be a little tighter. So now what I'm going to do because of that is I am going to actually move this over and I'm going to try to retain this distance between the elements. So I'll make the border about that same. I don't know. I just think it looks nice when you have everything kind of the same distance apart. And that, I feel like that is something that I've done more because I used to do yearbook production than anything else. When I was a teacher, I used to teach a class called Journalism 20, and in that journalism course, we produced the yearbook. It was pretty cool. And so we did all kinds of different things with laying things out on the page. Now, I'm going to go ahead and trim that, trying to maintain that same little border size-ish. Doesn't have to be perfect in my world. So that's pretty good. That's pretty close. Now what I can do is take a look at this on the page and see how I feel about that with the white edge. And if I want to add a brown edge to it. So I'm going to go ahead and try this. I'm trying to live my life without worrying about the paper I'm using, you know, because I think about all of the paper that I have in my stash that's just sitting here. It's crazy. I have a crazy amount of paper and I'm trying to use it, you know. I really want to use my paper instead of just letting it sit there, because that is just a waste. So I'm just going to trim this using those pencil lines to help me know how big I want this to be. I would rather use a pencil to measure than my ruler sometimes. Okay, so it's just a really nice brown border that's going to match. And I think that actually looks pretty darn good. I actually really kind of like that. So I'm just looking at it on the video here. I think that's looking quite nice. So now that I've kind of got the lay of the land as far as the layout goes and sort of the basic idea of it, now what I want to do is look at what I have for embellishment. So I do have the chipboard, which is nice. And I do have the laser cuts. And I've got the laser cut leaves and I have the laser cut flowers. Okay, so these are the Spice Wildflower laser cuts. And these are the Spice laser cut mixed media leaves. So fabulous. These are great to have. And I have not used any of them yet. So I'm super pumped about opening these up. It's exciting. And what I love about the laser cuts is, you know, you just pop them out. So I'm really loving the pumpkins for this project. Loving the pumpkins a lot. See how we can layer that? But the flowers will be really pretty on here too. So just kind of taking a look at what all there is. I really like the leaves also. They are also good. Oh my gosh, they're so pretty. Let me grab this one. You have to be really, really careful when you take these off the packaging, because they can tear really easily. Oh my gosh, that is so pretty, you guys. But look how nice that's going to be layered over top of this paper. It's just it's gonna look really nice. So I really love that for a little cluster here. That's super, super pretty. We also have some really lovely butterflies happening here. We can kind of emulate that guy with this one here. So we can actually even layer it right over top, which would be cool. And there's a larger one as well. Let's see what else we have. Oh my gosh, I love these watercolor leaves so much. It's also stunning, right? And then this bud here is just like that bud that we trimmed around. We might be able to use that. Oh, this is so pretty. So, so pretty. I like the idea of having another little cluster up here and then putting the chipboard down here. We also have some fun little elements that we can fussy cut out of the packaging. So I really like that ticket. These little hearts are fun. I love this piece here. I'm not really sure if I can use that on this particular project, but really nice. I love this little bloom. I love everything, let's face it. But how pretty is that as a little layering piece there? And then up in that corner, let's see. I don't want anything too large up there, but we could go with some smaller flowers. I think this piece is going to be too big. I don't want another pumpkin just floating up there either. So maybe this bloom here might work. Let's try it. Super, super pretty. I like the scale of that for up there. That's gorgeous. Okay, let's dive into these and see what this is going to look like. I do have the rub-ons, but I don't really think the rub-ons are going to work for this particular project today. Oh my gosh, you guys, these leaves are just so stunning, right? I am going to pick one that doesn't have quite as much teal on it, because we're more with the oranges and the pinks on this one. But I love that teal too. That'll be worked into another project for sure. We definitely could have done the teal in the background, but I just didn't feel that there was as much teal here to work with. But how stunning. Oh my gosh, that is beautiful. That is definitely perfect for up there to be layered up in that area with that bloom. How gorgeous is that with those greens behind it? Really super pretty. And maybe this little bud, maybe we could work that little bud up there as well. That's beautiful. I actually really like this composition right now. It's kind of working, isn't it? Okay, so probably in the comments, people are mentioning what they like or what they think I should have done. So that is fun. I love that. Hopefully that's what you're doing. Okay, the chipboard, always so good, from 49 in Market. They have on the back exactly what's in the package. I'll set that over here to the side like so. Move some of my other tools and such. Okay, so now we can see what we have here. So lots of options. Super cute. Fall works. I like that. Fall Joy would be a good title. Fall Memories would be also fantastic. Love that combination. I like the idea of the typed and the script. Let's see. I like that Fall Memories. I think that's going to be maybe a winner. What else have we got? So many good things. Could even do a little sub down there as well. Fall Memories, Autumn Days. I love that. I like working that purple in there too, right? So that works. That actually works really well. The nice thing too is we've got these little heart embellishments, which I'm going to pick a couple of those out that are in some great colors for our project. And now I'm just going to put these guys back in the bag, and I will see you. Okay, so I took a picture of this with my iPhone, and I always do that when I'm scrapbooking so that I can remember where I have things placed, because as soon as I take things off, I often will forget. So another thing that I do is these are the clusters that go up in this corner. I'll put those on my desk over there so that I remember that's where they go. A lot of these pieces don't really even have to come off. I can leave those on there for now. And what I'll do is I'll go ahead and get this mounted on here. Now, I think what I'll do is I'll pop this up on some dimensional adhesive of some sort. I'm not sure what yet. And I'll get that adhered down. I'm actually just going to grab some craft foam. Okay, so I just grabbed a little bit of craft foam. I just buy this, at Walmart or the craft store, whatever. And before I put that on the back, oh gosh, I'm just wondering here now if I cut this too big. It should be okay. Let's try it. So I'll just put this down. Let's move this over for a second. Put this down right to the edge. Is it going to be too big? Just a smidge. So before I let that go, I'll just cut a little bit more of that off. I need some different scissors. Those are Teflon scissors. Okay. Grab my photos up here. Oh, these photos are so cute. So cute. I love them. They're adorable. Okay. Got a little bit of liquid adhesive to the back. This is my daughter and her husband and their little guy. And they have a family photographer. The lady that took their wedding pictures actually moved to Alaska. So they found another lady now who's doing all of their family photographs. And she's fantastic. So I think this is maybe the third or fourth time they've had her take their photos, and they're always just so great. She does just a really fantastic job. So I love that. That's just a really nice way to make a little photo collage. Really nice way to do that. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is deconstruct this. I'm going to take these die cut pieces and just put them down here at the bottom. And my little butterfly, I'll just put over to the side. And now I'm going to start to add these things down. So this piece here, I'm actually just going to add to the project with liquid adhesive, which I highly recommend when you're adding anything over top of texture paste or modeling paste. Not too worried about these little bits being glued down, but definitely want this piece adhered. And again, like I said, I'm just going to put that right into that corner that was created with that stencil. And you just want to give that a really good press. Give that a lot of pressure because you really want that obviously to stick down well to the texture paste. Now, if you want, you can even put something heavy on top of this so that it sits for a minute. And that should be pretty good. I can't remember, did I put adhesive on that? Yeah, I did a little bit. Okay, so I'm just going to grab something heavy and put it right on that and let that sit. And meanwhile, what I'll do is I'll open up my phone to that photograph so that I can see where I had things positioned. It shouldn't be too hard to sort that out. It's a pretty basic layout, but I just like to do that just in case, because it's disappointing if you have a plan and then you can't remember how things went, right? So the photo is going to go right about there. I think is about where I had it. And now I can just start to go in and work on adding these other little bits. Now, I do want to bump these up. So I'm going to grab some foam. How's everybody doing? I hope you have a little snack and poured yourself a beverage before the premiere today, because it's kind of a long one. Okay, so we're going to go ahead. I think I am going to add my photos down. I think I'm going to go ahead and put those down onto the project before I start to embellish. So I'm just looking here to see where I had that placed. It looks like it was right about there. pretty close. I'm just looking at how far down from the bottom I had it. It goes right about there. So what I'm going to do to add the photo down to the project again is to put a decent amount of liquid adhesive onto the back. Try not to get my head in the frame here. And now what I'll do is give that a good press, but I also want to put my paperweight on there. And I also want to make sure that I grab my T-square ruler and make sure that that's straight. So I'll just grab my ruler. Okay, that's looking pretty straight. I did use my T-square ruler just with the edge of the Vicki Boutin Foundations paper, just like this, and just held it on there to make sure that the bottom of the photo is pretty straight. So now I want to make sure that that is good to go. So I'll just put that heavy paperweight on top. And now I'm going to start adding my embellishments. So I want every layer that I put on, I want to have another layer of foam adhesive on it to bump it up. So this bottom layer, I am going to put some foam adhesive on that, and I'll put it right about there. Okay. And then next, I'm going to add this into this corner. And again, I'm going to put more foam adhesive on that so that it's bumped up. Now, some of you might not like that much dimension in your albums. It just kind of depends on how you store them. If you display them, you frame them, you know, all of these things are definitely considerations when you're thinking about how you want to display or use dimension on your project. Okay, another little bit of foam adhesive on this one. Just going to grab some tweezers here. Just so that I can kind of hold this and see where I want it. I think that is a good spot right there. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is just pick it up and look at it. And I do really like how it looks. I think it's really pretty. And we can add that little butterfly over here. I definitely want to put some foam adhesive on the back of that. So I'm going to grab some small foam squares from Scrapbook Adhesives by 3L. And I'm going to maybe put another one on there. Just double that up so that it's nice and dimensional. This is a project that I actually might put up in my studio because I don't have any scrapbooking layouts in this studio since I moved rooms and kind of reorganized myself. So I think that'd be really pretty on my wall. So here, what we're going to do is give this a little haircut. Use these scissors here. I'm going to give this a little trim to about there. So probably put that guy right about there. And then these ones sort of just over to the side a little bit like that, so that we can see a little bit of both. And then this, I'm just going to look at where I had this. Yep, just on that corner. So we definitely don't want to cover up any important parts of the photo, but where I have it there, obviously that's going to be fine. So the bottom leaves there, the green ones, will be fine glued right onto the layout itself. But these ones I definitely want to pop up. So I'll put a little bit of foam adhesive there. Add that there. And then I'll grab my liquid adhesive and put it on here. And then this guy is going to go on with, I'm actually going to try to duplicate the amount of dimension with this corner down here. So I'll double the adhesive up on that corner. I'll bump that up, and now there's a little bit of room to stuff some other things in behind if I want, like this little bud, which I think I would like to go right about there, which I think is nice. So I'll put a single layer of foam adhesive and then I'd maybe adhere it so that it's kind of attached to that leaf there. I think that looks really pretty. Maybe tucked in a little bit more so that stem isn't kind of like sticking out there like that. How does that look? Pretty good, I think. I think that's good. And we could actually snip off these leaves so that they don't go to waste and pop another one in kind of like here. And I would, for that one, I think double that adhesive. And then thinking about adding another one of these. Here's a little one here, a smaller cluster. Oh, this one's pretty too. They're all pretty. They're all so beautiful. Could also add this one kind of over here with a double adhesive on the back. And tuck this in kind of there so that we kind of have a little bit draping down a little bit. Okay. And then we've got these gorgeous little hearts that we can use, maybe to fill in this little space a little bit. We'll wait. I'll wait until I get the title on here. Okay, so are these sticky? I'm not really sure. Oh, they are sticky. Nope, I don't think they are sticky actually. Okay, so now I'm just going to look back at my photo. This was right about here, which looks lovely. And I'm going to put dimensional adhesive on the back. So we'll go with that. And that should be okay. I'm going to try not to get my head in the way here. Just hold that up to make sure that it's straight. It looks all right. Okay, so that fall. And then memories will go underneath. Just tucked in there. And then autumn days. So I think that memories can just be glued down directly. I'm not being shy with the glue here because I want it to stay stuck. I also want it on there straight, so I'm just going to hold it up. That looks pretty good. Give that a press. And I'll just hold that there for a couple of. Okay, so I've got those stuck down. They're kind of adhering. Now we'll add some of these little hearts, which I think are so cute. These little chipboard hearts. We'll add 3 of those. Wish I had 100 of these. They're so good. So good. What do we think of the placement of the hearts? I think they're all right. Yeah, looks good. Okay, so now what I want to do is do some white splatter. So I'm going to clean off my desk and get ready for that step. Okay, so what I like to do is put my project in a box so that it kind of contains the splatter a little bit on my desk. It's not quite as messy. And I like to splatter with the Dina Wakley gloss spray. So I'll put a little bit out on my table. And I always take a wipe and wipe off the top of the lid so that it doesn't drip down the edge and become cemented shut. And I like to cover up my photo. So any faces, cover up the photo, and I cover up any words. So if I had journaling on here, whatever, I cover that all up. Just going to rinse my brush out, make sure there's no magicals in there. And now I'll just go ahead and splatter. And I will try to protect my cameras that I have in here too, and my microphone and stuff. So I'll just shield things in my space with my hand a little bit. And now I'll just go ahead and splatter just by picking up that paint with my brush and going ahead and going in and tapping the brush over the whole project. So it's just going to look a little more cohesive with the white splatter. The white splatter is just going to finish off the project and sort of like bring everything together, because the whole project is going to have that white splatter on it. And I love that look. I'm obsessed with that look on my art, all the different things that I do. Card making, art journaling, whatever. Yeah, scrapbooking, obviously. I just really like how it looks. And you could do this with white, you could do this with black, you could do this with gold, like just whatever you like to do. I obviously put way too much paint out on my table. That happens sometimes. I have about a dozen bottles of this stuff, but I still shouldn't waste it. And I'm just going to give it a good one. Even in the white space, it just adds that little bit of extra texture, the white on white, which I love that look. It just looks really fresh and pretty. I'm going to make sure that I get that magicals in there as well. I'll give my brush a really, really good clean after, but I think I want a little bit more over here actually on this, because we didn't do any layering on this area. So I just want to make it come alive a little bit too by adding that spotter. Okay, I think we're done. I'm just going to clean this up and let the paint dry. Okay, I am actually really happy with how this turned out today. I think it's really pretty. There's lots of room for journaling up here. If you wanted to do some journaling strips, you could do a little bit of journaling over here to the side. I have also added journaling onto the back of my projects. I have done that lots. And I always tell my kids, when you're looking at your albums, make sure you look for hidden pockets and journaling on the back as well, to find the journaling for the project. Friends, thank you so much for joining me for this premiere. I really, really had a lot of fun. It felt so good to print some photos and do a layout and use some of the product in my stash. I do have all of the different products that I've used today that I could find links to in the description box below. So if you want to shop for any of these different products, I have tried to link up to those. Also, please, if you haven't already and you liked today's premiere, make sure that you subscribe and hit that notification bell for more videos. I loved being here today, friends, and it was so great to have you. See you soon. Bye-bye.